Welcome. In this video, we will tell you 2 scary stories. I hope you enjoy. The first story is called Video Nasty. One evening, a young woman, her name is Betty, was home alone. When she heard a knock at the front door, she opened it and found a young man standing there on the doorstep. He told her that his car had broken down and asked if he could come in and make a call because his cell phone battery had run out. Betty was a friendly young woman, and she readily agreed to help him. After he made his phone call, she offered him a drink. They sat down in the lounge and began to discuss anything and everything. Their conversation continued long into the night. As it was getting late, Betty yawned and told the young man that it was probably time for him to go home. However, he ignored her and continued to talk about his passion for movies. He listed all the movies he had seen recently and asked her opinion about them. He continued to talk and brought up the subject of video nasties. Betty didn't know what the term meant. He explained that a video nasty was a film in which a person was actually murdered. No special effects, no camera tricks, everything was real. Betty began to get a little creeped out and explained that she had been terrified when she watched one horror movie in particular. It was the morbid story of a young woman who was trapped by 3 psychopaths who left a camera running as they killed her and chopped her up. The man began to talk more and more about video nasties, and the longer he spoke, the more uneasy she became. While he was talking, Betty's attention was suddenly drawn by a peculiar red glow under the jacket of her guest. Her face grew pale when she realized it was the unmistakable red light of a camera that was recording. The second story is called Family Photo. There was a single mother who had 3 daughters. The youngest daughter was diagnosed with an inoperable brain tumor. The doctors broke the bad news to her mother. They told the poor woman that her daughter had only 3 months to live. The family were devastated by the horrible news. The mother decided to have a family photo taken while her youngest daughter was still alive. That way they would always have something to remember her by. They hired a professional photographer to come and take the photo. The family posed with the youngest daughter sitting in the middle of the picture, and her mother and older sisters arranged around her. Afterwards, they had it framed and hung it over the fireplace in the living room. After 3 months later, the youngest daughter died in hospital. Her mother and her 2 sisters were at her bedside when she passed away. The funeral took place 2 days later. After the funeral, the mother was sitting in the living room when she happened to glance up at the family photo over the fireplace. She was horrified to discover that her daughter's face in the photo was shifting and changing. It looked distended and deformed, almost demonic. They brought the family photo to the professional photographer and complained. He said he had no explanation for why the photo would suddenly change, making the dead child appear so grotesque. The mother was at her wit's end. She took the family photo to a psychic and begged the psychic to tell her what was wrong. The psychic took one look at the family photo and recoiled in horror. The psychic said to her, "I'm sorry to have to tell you this. Unfortunately, your daughter fell into hell." Thank you. I hope you enjoyed. See you tomorrow for a new story.